High five. I've been
Hello.
watching Mel Robbins, and Mel Robbins high fives the bathroom mirror every day, or a mirror when she goes by it. So now I'm high fiving you and peace signing you and all kinds of stuff. So how are
Cool.
you?
Well, good. Peace back to you.
There you go. Peace be with you and also with you.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Lisa Weigelt, and I want to welcome you to our brush cleanup.
Woohoo.
You're not going to want to miss this episode. And
Mhm.
so we're going to be sharing with you some great information on how and why you want to make sure that your application tools are safely cleansed and sanitized in a simple way. So just sit back, grab your favorite beverage, maybe a pen and paper or your phone, so that you can take pictures with your camera.
All right.
Just be ready.
Be ready. And I'm Becky Davies, and I would like to share with you a few housekeeping tips before we get started. So please let me know in the comments, if you've not already done it, who you are, where you're from, and who invited you. And then click that share button down below so that you can let others know that they can also how they can also use these great tips as well. And lastly, let us know if you have any questions or comments along the way. And after we're finished tonight, because we're going to have our eyes on some other things, we'll be able to answer those questions for you too. So before we get started tonight on the cleaning part, like Lisa was talking about, I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about the tools, how or why we use them, and maybe what our favorites are too. So Lisa, you want to grab your first favorite brush?
I sure will. Okay. So my first favorite brush is this one.
Okay. Tell them what it is.
And this is our, okay. This is the eye blending brush. But what I love about it is that it really allows you to be able to work around the crease of the eye in a more fluid manner than some of the other brushes. And so I just think it's really user friendly, and anybody who's not familiar with brushes would have no problems with this.
Yeah, and I also think it's a great one to have multiples of, because not only does it do some really nice crease work with some darker colors, but it also helps to blend all of those colors and soften those edges and stuff too. And I think you want to have more than one. Yes, Lisa, because otherwise you can get kind of a muddy look when you're trying to blend colors together. Looks like mud, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, next one up, I'm going to show you one of my favorite tools, and it's the cream brush. Cream. Had a hard time saying that. And there are several ways that I use this one. Actually, you can actually use this as off your tube of lipstick, and you can paint in your lip color is one option if you want to. Another option is when I put my foundation on, the crooks of the nose, the little marionette lines, sometimes they need a little buffering out, I guess, or blending. So I like to get this here into the crook of the nose and kind of buffer that line just a little bit so that I don't have any excess product settling into there. And then last but not least, one of my other favorite things to do is to use this with our liquid eyeshadows. And if you didn't know we had any, you got to ask your consultant about it. But they help. You can put that liquid eyeshadow on with the sponge tip applicator. And instead of my finger, which is really handy to use, I like to manipulate that with the cream brush. I have a minimum of 2. Probably wouldn't hurt maybe if you had 3 if you were using it on your lips too, so that you can have one for all the different areas. Anything you want to add, Lisa?
I love that brush too. And it's just so versatile as
Mhm.
well.
Mhm.
So I want to show you my next favorite one. And
What's
this
that?
is a duo-ended. It
Oh.
has spoolie on one end, and the other end is a slanted brush. And
Mhm.
the slanted brush works great with our new waterproof eyeliners, so that you can help blend them in and maybe lessen the amount of the line. And you want to do it quickly after you put them on so that they haven't already become waterproof.
Mhm.
The other end of the spoolie, I just think it's wonderful to be able to use with all of our eyebrow products that we have, including our new eyebrow primer. and being able to then move it through the eyebrows. Because, you know, when you kind of get to that interesting age, the eyebrows just kind of tend to do this thing and they look kind of gnarly.
Uh-huh.
This is a great way to tame them down just a little bit. So, and you know, a couple of these I do like to have available. And you know, one of our makeup artists, Lori Hogg, always says, you know, how many pieces of silverware do you have? That's kind of how many brushes you have.
Okay. All right. That's really good. The other one, now this looks a lot like my cream brush that I had, but this is our essential. Let me get you the exact name. Our all over eyeshadow brush. And this is just for all of that space where you're just putting a color down that you want to put down fast and easy. It's fluffy. It's not for cream shadows. It's for powder only, but it has a similar shape to our cream brush. So one or two of those would be nice to have on hand too.
Particularly if you travel too, you know, you can have a to-go set and then a set for home and then a set to where you're going. Like if you have a lake home or something, you can have one there, one for your travel suitcase, and then one for home. So you are prepared.
Yep.
Another one of my favorites is the all over powder brush. I love this for finishing and also using the finishing spray. By spraying it on the brush too will help keep the, for instance, the translucent powder on there and then being able to move it around on the whole facial area. And I just think it's kind of soft and bougie feeling too.
Bougie. All right, I'm going to go in for the cheek brush too, because this is a fun brush. So it's fan shaped, so it gets your cheeks nice, but it's also angled, if you can see from top down. And then it also has this little divot right here that you can put your thumb in there and you can, press and then get, I'm having a camera issue. You can have a little bit more of a dense brush. So this works well for applying cheek color. You can turn it over and the top edge, you can do highlighter. And then if you want to do some contouring, that's when you put your thumb in there, squeeze that together to get a little bit dense, and then do the contour where you can have a little bit more impact. So it's a 3-in-1 cheek brush. And I honestly think one for this, as long as you're cleaning on a daily basis, which we're going to talk about in a minute, should be enough for you too. Agreed or disagree, Lisa?
I agree.
Yeah,
definitely agree. And I'm going to round it out with this last brush here. This is an eye smudger. Okay. And the eye smudger is great for underneath the eye. It's great for toward the end of the eye area, the outer corner of that. And just being able to kind of move the product around where you want it to be. And so don't be afraid to play around with the brushes, because you might come up with some ideas that how you want to use them or do use them. So let us know in the comments how you might use some of these brushes that we're talking about as well.
Yep. And last two is our foundation brush. See the slant on this? Good for liquid, but also our brush, which we call a combination of a brush and a sponge. This is a little bit more dense. And these are two tools that I like to use for using any kind of cream contour or cheek color, because we've had those in the past for this brush, but the foundation brush for putting in the foundation and kind of painting and buffering all around the face. So anything else you want to add about those?
They're two really wonderful brushes, easy to work with. And again, don't be afraid to try the brush. You know, your fingers are one thing, but brushes are an extension of your fingers.
And your fingers also have natural oils on them that cause problems on the face sometimes too, correct?
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. So, you know, Becky, when I think about mopping, I always think of the importance of sweeping first. Okay. And, you know, our old friend here, Carol Burnett, when I think about her, you know, I don't know, she just comes to mind. And that hour of laughter that we would enjoy as a family and friends, I just wondered how they always could keep a straight face. Well, for the most part, but they always had such really great, clean humor, and they would do ad lib in different scenes, etc. And so, a couple of my favorite scenes are the one from Gone with the Wind, where she takes the curtains and she comes out and she has the curtain rod hanging out of her shoulders. It's so classic. And even if you had never seen Gone with the Wind, you would find it comical as well. But it would also be a good reason to go and watch Gone with the Wind. And then the scene with Tim Conway and the dentist scene, how he accidentally puts the Novocaine in his
It
hand.
is, yes. I wonder if they would go out to YouTube and do Carol Burnett Gone with the Wind, if a recording would show up, or Tim Conway dentist, and if those two scenes would show up. It's possible, right?
Yeah, it's very, it's very possible. But this was one of Carol's very classic looks with her pail and her mop and her little hat that she would always wear. And that's kind of what Becky and I would like you to know, is how important it is to keep your beauty tools clean, and that it is important to sweep before you mop. So, Becky, you want to share with them some of your visuals?
About how I clean?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So I have two. Okay, my daily cleanse is our brush cleaner, and our brush cleaner comes in a spray bottle, pretty good size bottle too, actually. And every day when I'm done, I have my spray bottle and an old hand towel. Yes, I put my hand towel over the edge of the sink in the morning when I'm getting ready. And if I need to in between time, I can brush the brushes or excess off on the towel. Once a week, I throw the towel in the washing machine. But what I will do is I will take my brush at the end of the day or end of the morning, spritz it on both sides if I've used both sides, and then take my towel and just go back and forth like that. And then I put it back in my brush holder. That's my daily clean. Anything you want to add to that, Lisa? You're off camera and you're talking.
Oops.
Whoops.
Sometimes I do my cleaning in the evening time just because I'm taking off my makeup. It's just kind of a reminder that, okay, I can do that at the same time.
Okay.
So I think, you have options, however it works best for you.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned too something about using a paper towel or something like that, didn't you?
Yeah. A lot of times when I'm doing a demonstration or I'm working with a client, I
Mhm.
just automatically put a paper towel in with the mirrors that I have, and I clean them right there so
Mhm.
that it's done. And when I get back to my home, I don't have to worry about that. They're just all taken care of.
Okay. That's a daily clean. Every day. She does hers in the evening. I do mine in the morning when I'm done, and I tidy up the bathroom and leave. So both of them are great. You do you, whatever works best for you. Just get it done. All right. The next thing is my weekly clean. And I've got some tools I want to show you, ladies. So in my weekly clean, I've got two little silicone pads. This one's really flimsy. It's got all kinds of little nubbies on it. As you can see, different types of shapes. It's also got some suction cups on the back. And then this one is just a little triangle shape, all the same type of lines in here. Again, suction cups in the back. So what happens is once a week, mine's usually on Friday morning or Saturday morning, depending what's going on in my schedule, after I'm done with my makeup. Lisa's might be in the evening, we'll find out. I put these in the inside my sink bowl on the side. Okay, they just get suction cupped into there. And then I take my regular Dawn dishwashing soap. You see just the traditional one, not flavor scented, not scented, just a regular one. And I will take, let's pretend like this is open. I will take my brush and I will hold it sideways. Here's the faucet. I will hold it sideways, not like this, sideways. So my brush ends get damp. I will put a little bit of dishwashing detergent on the tip of the brush. And then I will come down to this little pad, and because the brush is wet with soap, and go back and forth, and it starts to remove the product out of the brush. And I will gently go back and forth, circles clockwise and counterclockwise. And then again, not like this underneath the faucet, but like this coming to the side, I will start to turn the brush and work the detergent, the Dawn dish soap, out of it until it runs clean. And when it runs clean, I have my towel set out and I'll lay it flat on the side of my towel. And I do that for every single one of my brushes so that they have a fresh clean once a week. And ladies, honestly, when you do something like that, your brushes are going to last you for years, I would say. The only brush I do not clean, just because because of the shape of it, is the big fluffy powder brush that Lisa was talking about. This only uses my translucent powder, nothing else. If I was to use some silky setting powder, I would get another one out. And when this gets kind of gnarly, I throw it away and I buy myself a new one. So these little silicone things, dollar store, Walmart, Target, I suppose Amazon probably has them too, but I have not spent very much money on these. I have a couple of them just because as you're cleaning multiple brushes, they do get filled up. Not that you can't rinse them out in between time, but it just makes cleaning faster. So join me, Lisa. What do you have to add?
Okay, so I do clean the all over powder brush, but what I do is I take a little bit of the brush cleaner and I pour it into a paper cup.
Oh.
Excuse me, plastic cup, so that it doesn't leak. But I put it in a plastic cup, not a lot, just a little bit, and just kind of swirl it around and then rinse it with a little bit of warm water and then use the Dawn detergent. And again, like Becky was saying, you don't want to put it right under the water so that the water is going down to where the glue is that holds the bristles together. You want to do it in a sideways fashion. And then when you're drying the brushes, you also want to lay them flat. You can lay them so that they're pointed into the sink or whatever might be easiest for you. And it's important not to use hot water, but more lukewarm water.
I've also heard, and I know one of our, Chantel was talking about it. She does some kind of rubber band around the end of them and hangs them off of her, I think she said her shower rod or something like that too. I'm not sure how she does it, and I don't have the little trick. So Chantel, if you're out there, put it into the comments about what that would look like to be able to do something like that. Or maybe even a link from a YouTube video or something about hanging brushes with rubber bands or hair ties. I think she says she uses hair ties or something like that too. So anyway,
well,
once a week.
If you're lucky and you have one of our brush holders that we had for a limited time, you could also put them in there and just lay them on the side and let them dry that way. And it makes it just a little bit easier. And plus you've got them all in one location, kind of lined up like little soldiers, but that will work as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to recap, Becky, with some of our brushes, just so that you see. We were pretty much going over the essential brush collection, and then we also shared with you about the brush cleaner. And these brushes, as you see, that are laying on the side, that's how you want to dry them. The one thing that we hadn't talked about yet was cleaning up this little sponge here. So I'm going to take just a minute and share with you how to do that. So this little sponge looks tiny, and it is, unless you put it into water and squeeze it out about 13 times. At times it will start to really get much larger. So cleaning the brush, the sponge, you want to do it while it's in a larger state, just so that you can get through all of the areas of the sponge. This, I put a little bit of warm water on it and making sure that it's got to its biggest state, and then a little bit of the Dawn detergent, and being able to run that under warm water or you could use the tools that Becky's talking about that'll help pull out the extra product. And this can be used for foundations, it can be used for concealers, and you can have a variety of sponges in different sizes. Ours just happens to look like this, and it's actually called a blending sponge. So it's a great way to be able to work with our creative powders. You could also use it with regular foundation, but when it's a little bit moist is the best way to be able to apply it on the facial area. And I'm going to bring Becky back to see if she has anything to add to this.
Just bounce, bounce, bounce is the best way to use that across the face, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it if for some reason I look like I got too much foundation on. Sometimes I can get kind of heavy-handed with my brush, my foundation brush, and I'll look and I'll go, whoa. And so I'll just bounce the sponge across just to kind of blend some of that in and remove a little bit of product. I like to use the tip of the sponge underneath my eye when I'm blending product underneath there without using my finger. I already pull and tug enough there with my contacts. So I like to take a sponge underneath there and bounce and tap. Yeah, and I clean that once a week like I do the other brushes. I don't do a daily cleanse with that one. Do you?
No. I think we should clarify, because they might be thinking we're spending 2-3 hours in the bathroom in the morning or in the evening time.
No.
And the reality is we're not.
No.
So through these different little vignettes that we do with Believers in Beauties, it's kind of giving you a strategy of how you can learn how to do application, but also how to do it more quickly. And the more often you do it, the faster you become. And, there are times that we might not do everything because we might be doing a run around Saturday or something. And so we might have a CC cream on and little lipstick and then our sunglasses as we go through the drive-through, which looks like you have a full set of makeup on.
Wink, wink.
I remember one time years ago when I lived in Minneapolis, I would always go through the drive-through. And one night I was invited to my cousin's wedding, which happened to be her nephew's wedding. And I walked in and she said, "I have never seen your legs before." So, you can make an impression in a different way too.
There you go. There you go.
It's just kind of fun for that too. So we're going to pull up the slide for our specials tonight. And Becky, do you want to share with them a little bit about that?
Sure. So when you text your consultant the code word cleanup, again, that's code word cleanup, you're going to see on the slide the discounted special prices. You can choose one item, a brush cleaner, for a 10% discount, 2 items for a 15% discount, or 3 items for a 20% discount. And you're probably wondering, how many beauty tools do I actually need? Well, as Lisa referenced earlier, Laura, our makeup artist that we work with, Lori Hogg, says, how many pieces of silverware do you need? You need just more than 1 fork or 1 spoon or 1 knife, because you may use multiple in a day before you throw it in the dishwasher to wash it. So kind of keep that in mind too. However, if you're looking for a more permanent discount, then joining us for our pink bubble, you might be better off in maybe looking, or not permanent discount, but maybe you want to be looking at the possibility of getting a discount by being a virtual hostess, or an in-person hostess too, bringing together some friends. But if you want to bring some of your friends to one of our Tuesday night events, we can call it a party and you can earn up to $50 in free product. But if you're looking for a more permanent discount, then you might want to consider being a part of our pink bubble. You'll not only get your products at a 50% discount, but you're going to be working with the #1 direct selling company of the world, supporting a company that thrives in helping women in domestic abuse situations, as well as those suffering from cancer, through our Mary Kay Ash Charitable Foundation. And you can become your own boss, whether you're looking to make just a few extra dollars or even more than a house payment. The income possibilities are limitless. So contact your independent beauty consultant to find out more details on how you can get started for just $35 is one of the options.
Wonderful. So this is a summer perhaps for you traveling. So wherever you travel, Mary Kay travel sets are ready to go with you. And they have about a 7-day supply in each of them. So it's also a great way for you, again, to have a supply in your travel bag as well as wherever your destination might be if you're traveling for longer than a week, and they're airline compliant. So that's just good to know. So Becky and I just want to thank you for joining us and hope that you've enjoyed these beauty tool cleaning tips. And join us June 18th as we introduce Simple Start Skincare. Same time, same place. Have a great evening.
Oh, they probably wonder what in the heck are they doing with their ears? Do you want to tell them?
Yes, this was the way that Carol Burnett would always say goodnight to her grandmother when she finished her show. She would just tug on her ear. And
Oh,
so we want to tug on your hearts.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks.
See you later.
Mhm.
Bye.
Bye.